Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about mastering your inner voice, also known as your inner critic. And thank you so much for all the feedback and support that you continue to leave. I'm so happy that a lot of these videos and topics that I talk about are helpful to you and are giving you some value, some insight, and helping you slowly shift and transform your life into the way that you want it to be. I say that because this video topic comes as a request from one of your comments about a video on the inner critic. So first thing we need to do is define what the inner critic is. Your inner critic is the lower part of yourself. Your inner critic is your ego. And your ego is a construct, a personality, a character that you play that has been developed from your earliest childhood memories. Depending on how you were raised, how you grew up, the influences that have shaped and molded you, that is your inner critic, your voice, your inner voice, or this aspect of who you are, your ego, your lower self. Your higher self is your intuition, that voice that is always on your side. And if you think of it, we've all seen that cartoon or the cartoon image of the angel and the devil on your shoulder. The angel is always going to be your higher self. That is your soul. That is your oversoul, your highest self speaking down to you. Your angel always wants what's best for you. Your ego is the little devil on your shoulder that says, you can't do that, you're not smart enough. So we're going to talk about what these things are, where they came from, and most importantly, how to reform them so that they're both working on your side so that it can, again, help you create the life that you want. So your inner self, that inner voice that comes, your critic specifically, is your lower self, your ego. Your ego has been formed throughout the years based on experiences, especially from early childhood, and have been ingrained as belief systems and subconscious programs into your being. You may have had things happen throughout your life that have reinforced that inner critic. So a voice of saying, say growing up, for instance, a common example is you had parents that were really hard on you and wanted you to do well in school. You bring home a B+ and they say, man, that's not good enough. You're stupid, you can do much better. You bring home an A-, it's still not good enough. And even when you brought home straight A's, it still wasn't good enough. In their minds, they thought they were helping you because they're like, oh, we're pushing them to be better. But there's better ways to go about that. That's a different video entirely. So you may have developed this inner critic, this inner voice of I'm never good enough, I'm never smart enough, no matter how much I accomplish, no matter what I do, no matter how much money I make, no matter what I do on the outside, achievements, accolades, etc., it's never good enough. So you have been trained, you have been programmed into a belief system of I'm never good enough no matter what I do. So no matter what you do on the outside, the external world, you still don't feel fulfilled. You still don't feel like you're good enough, so you're constantly striving for more. Maybe this has led to burnout. Maybe this has led to unhealthy habits and extreme behavior, and therefore coping mechanisms to help you subside and comfort and soothe your inner child that always felt like it was never good enough because you have that childhood voice of your parents saying you're never good enough. So then again, we try to overachieve, we try to do those things, but no matter what you do, you still don't feel good enough because again, it's a subconscious belief. It's a program that's been ingrained deep inside of your psyche. So what do we do about it? How do we conquer our inner critic? What is it? Your inner critic is a set of beliefs and a set of programs. So the first thing is let's define what it is. It's a set of beliefs and influences that have been ingrained into your psyche on a deep subconscious level that were probably not yours, most likely your parents, then maybe your teachers, then maybe social media, then other life experiences and other people that have reinforced that belief, because whatever your subconscious belief is what you're creating in your reality. So if you felt that all through 13, 14, the first 14, 15, 16, 18 years of your life, your parents saying constantly, you're not good enough, you're not, you're too fat, etc., whatever, thinking they're trying to help you, basically shame you into a better behavior or doing better, which is how our society is programmed. Very toxic, I know. Well, you probably recreated many experiences throughout your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, etc., until you became conscious and aware. Maybe this video is finally making you conscious and aware of that. So you had created, in other words, grew up with this set of toxic beliefs, this negative inner critic voice that wasn't yours, most likely your parents. Then it was reinforced all through your life because you grew up with that. So that is your reality that you're creating, because that was your belief system from the base up through your 20s and 30s, your 40s, etc., or until you woke up and realized this. You recreated experiences because that was your base belief system. So what do? We create our reality based on our belief system that reinforces that inner voice of saying, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. So maybe you had this in your relationships, and that little voice of you're not good enough, you're not smart enough with your grades manifested itself in your relationships and saying, oh, you're not good enough in this relationship, you're not a strong enough man, you're not a beautiful enough woman, etc. All leading to that same subconscious belief, I'm not good enough. So that is your inner critic. That is your lower self, the little devil on your shoulder. That's what it is. That's where it came from. An important part to talk about also about this is your higher self, which is your intuition, your gut feeling. Your intuition will always lead you to what's best for you. And here's how you distinguish the two. It's very simple. Your higher self, your intuition will always want what's best for you, and it will always tell you what's true. It may feel uncomfortable and harp on the shame that your inner critic feeds off of, but it's a different voice because your intuition is guiding you towards the best choice. An example is you're trying to lose weight and you go on a diet. Your intuition will say, hey, this apple is going to be much better for you than eating this bag of potato chips. And so your intuition is guiding you towards what's best for you, so that even though it's uncomfortable, your lower self is craving those potato chips in the moment, your higher self is trying to guide you to what the better decision is. And deep down in your heart and your gut, quite literally your heart and your gut, your instincts know that that apple is what's healthier. Now, there's nothing wrong, of course, don't take it out of context, with eating potato chips and ice cream, etc. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to do that a little bit later for dinner now, or after dinner now that I'm talking about that. So this is what your inner critic is. The important thing to note, what is it? Where did it come from? And then the important thing to know is, how do I change it? You change it by understanding this. A belief is simply a thought that's been thought over and over and over again, that has been reinforced by external experiences. So that little voice telling you you're stupid or you're not good enough, you got reinforced that false negative belief that wasn't yours, it was your parents, by shaming you in your relationships, in your work, and it may manifest itself in so many other ways in your life, telling you that you're not good enough. So, yes, that's challenging. There's some reflection, there's some forgiveness, some grief that probably needs to go on that. But the beautiful part of it is, a belief, that inner critic, is something that you had trained your mind subconsciously to do. But now, through watching this video, you are conscious of it. You're aware of it. So what can we do? You can retrain your belief system by constantly thinking new thoughts. So every time that voice comes up about you're not good enough, you're too stupid, you're not pretty enough, you're not a strong enough man, or whatever it is, that's your inner critic. That's the devil. That's your lower self. That's the false programming. So what do? Remember, you were trained like that subconsciously by outside influences. So now that you're aware, you can simply choose to have different thoughts and retrain your mind over and over to think and believe something different. Depending on how long you've been thinking these deeply ingrained false belief systems, this will take time. And depending on how powerful the negative experiences in your life that you've had that reinforce this negative belief system, it's going to take time to begin to think over and over and over again, and then little by little experience new positive experiences that reinforce the new positive beliefs. It's going to take time. But when you do this over and over, you'll get better at catching that negative critic, your unconscious voice saying you're not good enough. And you'll be like, nope, I know that's not true at all. I know where this comes from now. I remember watching that video. He talked about how I just need to rethink a new positive thought. And by by catching myself in the negative thought when that inner critic comes up, and then choosing consciously in awareness to retrain and reprogram my mind, little by little, I will have a new positive belief system, because deep down, I do know that I'm worthy. I do know that I'm smart enough. I do know that I'm capable of. And as you do this, your external reality will begin to mirror your internal subconscious belief system. And you will begin to have positive emotional experiences on your external reality that reinforce this new belief system that I am worthy, I am smart enough, I am beautiful enough, I am whatever, etc. Fill in the blank, whatever that inner critic is saying to you. It's a false set of programs that was ingrained into you through childhood and was reinforced throughout your life through negative experiences. So now simply you're going to become aware, step one, of, oh crap, this is my inner critic, this is that negative belief system. Well, what's the truth of this matter? Well, I know that I'm worthy of love. I know that I'm smart enough. I know that I'm capable of creating wealth and abundance, and I deserve to have a wealthy life and good money coming in and live comfortably. I deserve to have that. Okay, great. So you catch yourself, and then you tell yourself over and over and think that, because that is the truth. That is your higher self speaking to you. And over time, once again, you will, as you catch yourself over and over and think something new in that moment over and over, you will begin to have new experiences that are positive, that reinforce that, oh crap, this new good stuff's coming into my life. That will begin to come into your life, and you'll one day be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm literally at that, I've overcome this recently in the past 6 months of my life where, wow, I was talking about it with my dad today at breakfast about, I couldn't go super deep anyways. I was talking with him about it to where he understood to an extent that I was like, what you're seeing my physical reality become, Dad, is a result of all this deep inner work that I've done. And it works because I've done it, I'm doing it. And the manifestations, the materialization in the physical 3D world, the money in my bank account, the opportunities for romance and new friends and connections, they're manifesting on the physical plane as a result of me consistently over years. It may not take you years, but it took me years of healing, of reflection, of catching this inner critic voice. So it's simply your inner critic is your voice that has been programmed into you, most likely by your parents, reinforced by life experiences that you've had to reinforce that negative belief. So what do? We become aware of it. We choose to think a new positive belief and thought, knowing the truth that you are worthy, that you deserve to be happy, that we're on here actually to have a positive life experience, that you're supposed to be healthy. That's what we're here for. As you do that over and over, you'll begin to see your reality change. And the caveat with that is it's uncomfortable. And when it gets uncomfortable, you're supposed to double down, because this is the sign that you are on the right track. Because if it's comfortable, you're just doing what you've always known, so you're going to get what you've always gotten. So when it's uncomfortable, double down, step into the unknown and embrace it, and know that this is all this work, you catching yourself and then reprogramming your beliefs by your thinking new thoughts, and then having your physical reality slowly mirror that experience. This is you being on the right path. It's going to be uncomfortable because you've been doing it one way for another for a long time. That's what's familiar. It's uncomfortable when you're in the unfamiliar and you're reprogramming your mind. Your life is going to change. And that's the irony of it. You want your life to change, but as it starts changing, it's scary. So you cling on to what you know because you don't want to step in that unknown. No, this is the time to double down. When you catch yourself and you see your life getting uncomfortable and things crumbling, this is the time to double down and go all in, because this is your reality changing as a result of you changing your beliefs. So I just went for it today. I didn't write a lot of notes, but again, at request, please let me know if there's more things that you guys want me to talk about. And there's all this stuff coming up. But I will leave you, of course, with some quotes. The first one, when we listen to the inner voice, our outer life becomes full of peace. That inner voice, not the inner critic, your intuition, distinction between the two. Your inner critic is the negative programming beliefs, your ego, your lower self. Your inner voice is your intuition, the voice from your heart, your higher soul coming down and telling you, hey, this is the truth. This is what's going on. Think about your intuition as like your best friend. What is your best friend who truly loves and cares about you, or that person in your life who truly cares about you, really going to say? Are they ever going to try to bring you down? No. And if you have people in your life that do try to bring you down, are those the right people? But that's another video entirely. So, second one, we become what we think about all day long. So what are you thinking about? Are you allowing that inner voice and that inner critic to constantly bring you down and tell you you're not good enough? Start thinking differently. It's a bunch of BS. I am in the works, or I will be in the works of creating some workbooks, some online courses and things for you to reprogram your beliefs, as it's worked for me with meditations and all these things. But I'm in the middle of my transformation, guys, and my work is exploding because I do have a full-time job. It's very demanding, but this is important to me to be able to fulfill my purpose and help you and other people and all of us ascend and become better people. So hopefully this was helpful. Please let me know if there's other things that you want me to talk about. I love you so much, and we'll talk again soon in the next video. Peace.